When we think of the Titan Atlas, the image that comes to mind is one of tragic endurance. A lone figure condemned to bear the heavens on his shoulders. But what if his punishment wasn't a tragedy? What if it was justice? While his brother Prometheus is remembered as a champion of humanity, the old myths whisper a darker truth. Atlas was a war leader for the Titans in their rebellion against the gods, a force of such terrifying might that Zeus himself designed a special hell just for him. This is the story of the Titan who earned his eternal torment. Before Zeus and the glittering halls of Olympus, there was a so-called Golden Age ruled by the Titans, the primordial children of the sky, Uranus, and the earth, Gaia. Among their descendants was a bloodline that would forever scar the course of mythic history, the sons of the Titan Iapetus. His children were a study in opposition. There was Prometheus, the forethinker, whose cunning would make him a savior to mankind. There was his brother, Epimetheus, the after-thinker, whose foolishness would unleash misery upon the world. And there was the arrogant Menœtius, whose violent pride was so offensive that Zeus struck him down with a bolt of lightning and cast him into the abyss of Tartarus. And then there was Atlas. While Prometheus was defined by his mind, Atlas was defined by his might. He was a being of immeasurable strength and fearsome presence, a warrior whose power would make him a titan among titans. It was this strength, and the brutal way he would choose to wield it, that sealed his fate. A fate far stranger and far more cruel than that of any other. The war for the cosmos, when Zeus, the son of Cronus, finally rose to challenge the old gods, the universe was torn apart by a cataclysmic, decade-long war, the Titanomachy. This was the clash between the new Olympian gods and the ancient might of the Titans. While the clever Prometheus and his foolish brother Epimetheus sided with the Olympians, Atlas remained fiercely loyal to his kin, taking up arms against Zeus. This was no war of subtle tactics. It was a raw, cosmic brawl for the throne of reality itself. Mountains were ripped from their foundations and thrown like stones. The seas boiled, the skies screamed, and the very forces of creation were unleashed as weapons. And in the heart of this chaos, Atlas became a pillar of the rebellion. Alongside the Titan king Cronus, he emerged as a primary leader on the battlefield, his legendary strength a terrifying force against the Olympians. And in the heart of this chaos, Atlas became a pillar of the rebellion. Alongside the Titan king Cronus, he emerged as a primary leader on the battlefield, his legendary strength a terrifying force against the Olympians. He was not just a soldier, he was a rallying cry for the old world. For 10 long years, Atlas led the charge, his power holding the line against Zeus. The war was a stalemate. It seemed the ferocity of the Titans might just prevail. But Zeus had one last horrifying card to play. He descended into the pit of Tartarus and freed 2 sets of ancient prisoners, the Cyclopes, one-eyed master craftsmen, and the Hecatonchires, monstrous giants with 100 arms. With the Cyclopes forging his iconic lightning bolts and the Hecatonchires unleashing a storm of stone, the balance of cosmic power shattered. Even the incredible strength of the Titan's greatest warrior couldn't withstand such an onslaught. The Olympians were victorious, a punishment to fit the crime. With the war won, Zeus's judgment was absolute. He was the new king, and he would make an example of all who defied him. For most of the Titans who fought against him, the sentence was the same: to be hurled into Tartarus, the deepest pit of the underworld, a prison of murky gloom for all eternity. Atlas's own brother, Menœtius, was among them. But for Atlas, Zeus reserved a different fate. A punishment more creative, more poetic, and infinitely more cruel. Atlas wasn't sent into the darkness of the pit. He was marched to the westernmost edge of the known world, and there he was condemned not to confinement, but to endless labor. His sentence was to hold up the sky. And here, we must correct a mistake passed down through centuries of art. Atlas does not hold the earth on his shoulders. The original myths are explicit. His burden is the Uranos, the heavens, the celestial sphere itself. He was forced to stand forever with the crushing weight of the entire cosmos on his head and arms. Why this specific torment? Because it was designed to mock the very thing that made him so powerful. His greatest asset, his world-breaking strength, was twisted into his eternal curse. The one who had used his might to try and topple the heavens was now condemned to hold them up. It was a constant, agonizing reminder of his failure, and unlike his brothers hidden in Tartarus, his punishment was a spectacle, a monument of defiance, made into a warning for any who would ever again challenge the rule of Zeus. It wasn't just a prison, it was a special hell of grinding, conscious endurance. And while whispers in later myths suggest Zeus may have eventually released some titans from their prison, Atlas was never among them. His burden was meant to be eternal. This kind of poetic cruelty is a hallmark of the Greek gods. Each torment tells a story, but Atlas's story doesn't end here. His eternal post at the edge of the world would lead to two fateful encounters that would only solidify his grim legacy. If you wish to witness the rest of his story, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our future explorations into the darkest tales of mythology, the heroes and the Titan. For untold ages, Atlas stood alone, his existence defined by a single, crushing task. But his story wasn't over. His unique prison made him a figure of interest to two of the greatest heroes of Greek myth, Heracles and Perseus. The first was Heracles, on his 11th labor, to fetch the golden apples from the garden of the Hesperides. The Hesperides were Atlas's own daughters. Following advice from the chained Prometheus, Heracles went to Atlas with a proposition. He, Heracles, would take the burden of the sky onto his own shoulders, if only for a moment, so Atlas could fetch the apples himself. Desperate for any respite, Atlas agreed. The feeling of the cosmos lifting from his body must have been an unimaginable ecstasy. He quickly got the apples. But upon his return, the Titan revealed his own desperate cunning. He told Heracles he would deliver the apples himself, intending to leave the hero trapped under the weight of the heavens forever. But Heracles was just as shrewd. He feigned agreement, but asked Atlas to take the sky back for just 1 second so he could adjust his cloak to better pad his shoulders. The Titan, blinded by the promise of freedom, fell for the ruse. The moment the sky was back on Atlas's shoulders, Heracles took the apples and simply walked away, leaving the Titan once again bound to his duty. His second encounter with the hero would be his last. This time, it was Perseus, returning from his quest to slay the Gorgon Medusa. He arrived at the edge of the world and asked the great Titan for shelter. But Atlas, wary of an old prophecy that a son of Zeus would steal his apples, and perhaps still bitter from his encounter with Heracles, refused him. Enraged by this hostility, Perseus declared he would offer a gift in return. He then unveiled the severed head of Medusa. The mighty Titan who held up the heavens looked into the Gorgon's eyes and was instantly petrified. His living form hardened into stone. His body swelled and grew, his hair and beard twisting into forests, his great shoulders and head forming the rugged peaks of a mountain range. He became the Atlas Mountains of North Africa. This was no mercy. It was the final, brutal transformation of his punishment, from an active torment into a permanent feature of the earth, a stony giant forever gazing at the sky he was once forced to carry. So, was Atlas simply a tragic figure, a victim of a vengeful god? Or was he a brutal rebel whose punishment truly fit the crime? The myths paint a complex and terrifying picture. Homer's description of him as Oluphron suggests a being whose immense strength was guided by a will bent on destruction. He was a leader in a war that threatened to unmake reality, and for that he received a leader's punishment, one that was singular, symbolic, and eternal. His torment wasn't the hidden suffering of Tartarus, it was a public spectacle of power, a warning carved into the world itself. While his brother Prometheus is celebrated for his defiance, Atlas is remembered for his endurance. He is the ultimate symbol of a burden that can never be set down. His story is a chilling reminder that in the world of the Greek gods, justice was often indistinguishable from cruelty, and punishments were designed to be as epic as the crimes themselves. The heavens remain in place, and the mountains bearing his name still stand. The silent, stony legacy of the Titan so powerful. Zeus created a special hell just for him. What do you think? Was this justice, or was it the ultimate act of divine tyranny? Cast your judgment in the comments below. And if you hunger for more tales from the shadowed corners of mythology, don't forget to like and subscribe. The Abyss has more stories to tell.